Hey there, Amplifiers. Thanks for tuning in. I want to ask you a question. How many times have you worked towards achieving something and maybe just feel a little short? It happens. We shoot for things, we try to achieve things, but then we don't always hit our goal. We don't always reach our destination. It happens too many times. And what happens then? We can end up lowering our goals, losing our momentum, and sometimes just settling for the things that are happening in our lives. But what if there was a different way? What if you could execute more consistently to achieve your goals, build momentum, and get energized every time that you were able to achieve them? In this video, I'm going to be sharing 3 ways to execute goals more effectively.
Welcome to Growth Amplifiers, where we showcase the best tips, resources, and tools to amplify and scale your business.
All right, so the first of the 3 actually has 4 components. You've probably heard me reference this book a few times, The 4 Disciplines of Execution. Ever watched a college football game? You'll notice that in the last 2 minutes, sometimes miracles can be pulled off. Throughout the whole game, both teams are playing, they're trying to beat each other, right? But in the last 2 minutes, they'll overcome the odds. They'll be able to surpass expectations. And they do this because they've practiced, they've built the disciplines and the endurance, and that's what makes them champions. That's what wins the games. So the 4 disciplines are, number 1, focus. You got to be able to focus on the task at hand. If you're really trying to achieve something, you want to make sure that you're making that your priority. Put first things first, and your focus there. There's a lot of other things that will be calling for your attention, but we want to put our focus on what we've determined to be most important. Once we've done that, we're going to be looking at taking the actions that will move us forward. We want to get those yards. So by focusing on the actions that we can take that will influence and predict the result, we are focusing on what we control to move the goal forward. Number 3, keep a compelling scorecard. Can you imagine going to a football game where they didn't keep score? It'd be crazy. You wouldn't know who's winning or who was losing, and you'd kind of be disinterested. And it wouldn't help the team at the end really make that push because they wouldn't even know if they're winning or losing. Having a clear scorecard to track your progress, measure you against where you want to be is really important. And last, number 4, accountability. Having a group or a coach or an accountability partner to really hold you accountable. We all have the best intentions to move our goals forward, but we can also easily give ourselves a pass and fool ourselves we're making progress, even though we just may be keeping ourselves busy. So question for you, have you read a book that has influenced you or been a good resource for achieving goals? Love to see that. I'm pointing out the 4 disciplines of execution. Number 2, actively monitor, reflect, and respond throughout the execution. You can't just go at it and be like, all right, we're just going to do this and hope it works out. So if you're in the middle of executing an action plan to achieve a goal, you want to be monitoring, reflecting, and responding to what you see. Just like the football team that's in the last 2 minutes, hey, we're down by a field goal and a touchdown. We've got to score more if we're going to get ahead. I was working with business. They were wanting to improve their revenue, their sales, and they were focusing on marketing and putting out their message, and they were getting more leads. And they were starting to get disappointed because they weren't getting the revenue, the sales they wanted. And they were saying, well, this marketing that we're doing isn't working. I said, hold up, do you know if it's the marketing or not? And what we did was we took a step back and we said, all right, let's look at the process from when you're getting that lead to how you're following up, to how you're staying in contact. And what we discovered is there was a lot of follow-up that just wasn't being done. So we set up a scorecard and we started monitoring and making sure that the follow-up process was being done more consistently. We identified different ways that we could do that more effectively, and would you know, they started to get more customers. Their marketing really started way more productive, produce a better ROI. It all came from not just doing the actions, marketing, but looking at the bigger picture, reflecting and saying, what can we adjust would change our trajectory? So do you have a routine or a ritual that you would recommend for reflecting? If you have one, love to see it in the comments. All right, and the final 3 areas that we're talking about to improve execution is connecting and engaging with your team or accountability group, or even better, both. So I was working with a company that did a lot of swimming coaching. I was talking to this lady. She's been in business for a couple decades, expanding her business, really successful lady. But I was asking her, what's going on in your business? What are the things things that you're working on achieving? And she really didn't know. She didn't have clear meetings with her team. Although her team would meet and she would meet with her team, there wasn't clarity. There wasn't focus. Things weren't being tracked. So we said, all right, what we need to do is we need to have productive meetings that have clear agendas that can help really guide direction in these meetings so that when people leave, they know what actions they're going to take. Things are being tracked between the meetings, and these meetings go from spending time just connecting and talking about things that need to get done to productively moving the actions and goals forward. So together, we set up an effective meeting flow. Each meeting had purpose. Everyone was realigned every time that they came into the meeting, which re-engaged the team, and together we made massive progress. She had more clarity on what her team was doing. Her team had more clarity on what the goals were, and together everyone worked more synergistically. So question for you, how often do you think you should meet with your team? Love to see that in the comments. Put your thoughts in. How often do you think you should meet with your team? All right, now here's the amplifier action. Determine one action from these strategies to act upon in the upcoming days. Put those ideas into action. Share in the comments one idea you learned, were reminded of in this video. If you liked something, share it. Even if you didn't like something, put your thoughts. I'd love to see what it is and be the amplifier in the world that you can be. In our next video, I'll be sharing more of the 4 disciplines of execution, giving you the highlights in this video. We're going to go in more details in the next. Hope to see you there.
To show your support, take a moment to amplify this message by sharing it online. To connect with me or gain more business growth insights, visit www.growthamplifiers.com. Thank you for your support.